So we now know what is training, what is strategic training, and what is training value chain. Ultimately, we discussed these three issues. And one of the steps in training process is training need assessment. That means if you recall the ADDIE approach, ADDIE means what? Who can tell me? A,
The analyze,
Analyze,
design, develop,
design.
implement, evaluate.
good. So I do not need to write in that case. So analyze, what does the analyze mean? Analyze mean analyzing the training needs. Analyzing the training needs. So whether training is important or not, whether the company will offer training or not, whether the company offer training in-house or outsource the training. That means outsource means you are sending your employees to outside organizations. What type of training program you are going to offer? Who will be the participants in the training program? Is the training important for them or not? These are the issues we will ultimately explain under training needs assessment. Training needs assessment. And while we do the training need assessment, we especially focus on three important issues: organizational analysis, personnel analysis, and task analysis. Personnel analysis and task analysis is sometimes related, and organizational analysis especially related with the organizational development. When you are developing, say for example, you are automating your company. So when you are automating your company, you have to provide training to cope up with the new environment. And there will have a lot of resistance. You have to tackle those resistance as a human resource manager. And as I have said that you have to prove that the organizational change, the organizational development is for the betterment of the person involved in the organization. And if you fail to do that, there will be huge resistance and you cannot bring the changes, you cannot develop your organization. So that's why we say it is training and development. Training and development. You have to prove that the employees are happy with the organizational development. So for the organizational development, you have to offer changes. Also for developing successors or succession planning, if you can remember. Succession planning is also development initiative. What is succession planning? Succession planning means that if I go to example, the company has is its CEO, and CEO is 55 years old. He is going to retire in 5 years or in 2026, 2027. So what you have to do, you have to develop from the within. That means maybe the deputy managing director, maybe one of your choices. Maybe other senior managers are also fit for this CEO position. So what you have to do, you have to choose few people to train him or them to develop or to replace the CEO position in future. There is not a succession planning, especially replacement chart. We usually say that this is also replacement chart. You have to develop replacement chart. Who is gonna replace whom? That is important. So our training and development program is related to the organizational development, related to the organizational change. Here we will discuss these issues. And the other issues, say for example, that we will discuss under the chapter is role of organizational analysis, personal analysis, task analysis, needs assessment. You are getting the point. Identify the methods used in needs assessment. Methods used. What are the methods you can use? Say for example, you can use observation method. You can observe the person, task. You can interview the person. So it may be observations, it may be interview, it may be performance appraisal. And if you can recall, it may be the controlling job, controlling, performance appraisal, controlling, observation, interview. These are all the methods used in needs assessment. Discuss the concerns of, say for an example, maybe you know that the Asian Development Bank is financing a project in Bangladesh. CCIP. Have you heard the word CCIP or SAIP? They're providing millions dollars for the training needs assessment. In our campus in Bangladesh University of Textiles, we are offering a training program. The training program is, the name of the training program is Textile Management. Textile, there are a lot of problems in the textile sector, managerial problems. We are providing training to solve the problem. And we have got maybe around 50 crores only for providing training. And 50 crore we have got for providing training, and they have spent more 50 crore for analyzing the training needs. What type of contents will be there in the training program? What are the skill gap in the textile industry? Also in other sectors, we are focusing only on the textile industries. But there are a lot of other ministries, they're also receiving fund from the Asian Development Bank for providing training. Say, for example, how you can excel in outsourcing. This training is offering by the Youth Development Corporation or such type of company. These are fully free. So, training need assessment. For assessing the training need, what they have done, they discuss with the industry leaders. Maybe they have invited people from the textile industry. And that is known as the focus group discussion. Focus group discussion may be one of the methods. Focus group discussion means top managers were there and they said that this type of problems we are facing. So if we can solve this problem, our performance efficiency will improve. So focus group may be one of the methods of training needs assessment. Even ADB, what ADB has done, some of our colleagues, they have chosen for observing what type of training is offering by the Chinese companies, Chinese textile companies. So a group from our school went to China to know what type of training they are receiving. So that is also one of the training needs assessment. So observing, this is known as benchmarking. Benchmarking means you will go to a Chinese company and then you will check what type of training they're offering or what are the skill gaps or what are the skills they have that is not available in our industry. So this is practical issue, focus group, and then I have talked about the benchmarking. So these are the methods. So methods may be number one, maybe observation. Number two, maybe interview. Number three, maybe focus group. Number four, maybe benchmarking. Benchmarking. So you have to identify the methods. So the discussions I am doing here is important for your exam, not for the coming exam, final exam. Discuss the concerns of upper and mid-level managers and trainers in need assessment. That is also important. Do you have, say for example, if you are interested to open a medical textile company that I have given you the example, is the trainers available? If not, then you cannot offer such type of training. Or the available trainers, what they are talking about, what type of training we need to offer, what the upper level managers are talking, what the lower level manager, mid-level managers are talking, what type of training the company needs. That means this is also focus group discussion. Discussing with the upper level and mid-level managers and the trainers to know the needs. Then explain how personal characteristics, input, output, consequences, and feedback influencing performance and learning. What is it? So personally, you don't know computer, but you are going to automate the factories. So automation is there, but you don't know how to operate computer. That was the common phenomena in previous cases. But now the students know how to, the employees know how to operate computer. So you have to analyze the characteristics. Say for example, the skills I have in artificial intelligence and the skills you have is different because you are the young generation. Your technological know-how is better than me. So when we will work in a same platform, maybe the company needs to offer training program for my technological problems. So personal characteristics will say that what type of training you need. Then create conditions to ensure that the employees are receptive to training. That means, say for example, today, if I now ask who are present, maybe 20% cannot respond on time because they're busy with the other jobs, Facebook or other jobs. And the formal system is that you have to switch on your video so that I can say whether you are joining, whether with me or not. As you are not doing the job, that means you are doing something else. So you are not in a receptive mood. So that means we have to make sure that the participants are in a positions they are receiving what we are delivering. So training, you have to ensure the training environment. That's why many organizations send their employees to Cox's Bazar for training purposes. That means they will offer 6-hour trainings and 6 hours will be enjoyment time. You will see many companies. They send their employees for training program in Cox's Bazar. So that means you have to make sure that the environment is receptive. Discuss the steps involved in conducting a task analysis. What are the steps? When you will analyze the task, what are the steps you will follow? You will identify the job and then you will observe the activities, you will record the activities, and then finally you will say whether task is performed rightly or not. If it is not doing rightly, then what you have to do? You have to offer training program where is the lacking that will be come out from the task analysis. Analyze task analysis data to determine the task in which people need to be trained. This is also important. After the chapter, you will learn about these issues, explain competency model and the process used to develop them. And important is that you will develop a competency model. That means by gaining experience of providing training, what you will do, you will develop a model that is company respective. Only that the model will be applicable for your company. Which model is giving better results? Model means your training system. Competency model means competency training system you will develop in your company that will help develop the company's strategic objective that you are going to learn from this chapter. And why training needs assessment? Because without training needs analysis, you cannot offer the training. To design the training program, you needs assessment. Training will not deliver the expected learning, behavior change, or financial results if you do not assess the need in advance. Money will be spent on training programs that are unnecessary. So if you know the needs, then the money that we'll use for training will be expenditure, not the investment. It will be spent. So that is why training need assessment is important. And what are the pressure points that ultimately lead you to offer training programs? Organizational factor. Pressure points may signal the need for training, but not always. What are the legislation? Legislation, what is legislation? Maybe government has formulated a new law and you have to work under that law. Say, for example, in banking system, especially, this is very common in banking industry. Bangladesh Bank offers some special programs, say, for example, money laundering program. So when the government will formulate new regulations, legislation, law, how to control the monetary problem, how to control the money laundering. So all banks offer training program because of the legislation. Lack of basic skills. I don't know about coding, but new generation, alpha generation, you the Gen Z have very good skills on coding. So if I have to work in a team with you, so I have to know about coding, basic skills. So the company will offer coding skills training. The performance is poor. So to improve the performance, we need to offer training. The company has introduced new technology to cope up with the new equipment. Technology training is offered. Customer request. Customers are requesting that there are some issues that is irrelevant. So train your employees. These customers are very big customers. Say, for example, in Bangladesh, in garments industry, we are producing products and we are producing products based on customer demand. That means our production system is buyer driven, not the demand driven. Demand driven means that I will produce the products, sell to the users, but now it is buyer driven. It means that we will produce product after receiving the order from the buyer. So we have to follow the customer's request. Say, for example, they said that we have to follow the international labor standards. So Because of following the international labor standards, company may require to offer training. Because of customer satisfaction, maybe to improve the customer service, you can offer training. To introduce new products, or the R&D has introduced a new product, the operations department is not acquainted with the new product. So the company will offer training program how to develop the new product. The same system in innovations. Higher performance standards. So maybe you have set a new performance standard. To achieve the higher level of productivity, to achieve the higher performance standards, you have to develop new way of doing the job. And training is maybe important for the new way of doing the job. So these are also known as the pressure points. Pressure points, or these are the also the sources of, and you can say these are also the organizational analysis. And when you are offering training program, it is important to consider the outcomes of training need assessment. What are the outcomes of need assessment? Outcome means who are receiving training, what training need to learn, what training programs you are offering, who are going to participate in the training, what type of training you are going to design, how many times you will offer the training, or how frequently you will offer the training, buy versus build training decision, other HRM solutions. Here, the buy versus build training decision, what is it? Maybe these are all clear. Clear means who are joining and what type of training program you're offering ultimately. Need assessment will give you the outcomes. The outcomes are what type of training you will offer, who will participate in the training program, who will be the instructor, how to implement the training. So these are the outcomes. What training trainees need to learn, who receives training, type of training needed, frequency of training, that means how many times you'll train the employee, buy versus build training decision. This is important. Buy versus make or buy. Maybe the idea is popular to you. Make or buy. Make or buy means that whether you will send your employees to the outside institute for training. Outsourcing, in other words. Training outsourcing. This is buying. Or whether you will rent a floor or allocate a new office for training program. Build training decision. Build training means you will provide training in your own institute, and buy means you will send your employees outside. So this will also be one of the outcomes of training need assessment. That means whether you are going to offer training or you are sending the employees outside. While you are making the decision whether you are buying training program or you are offering training program in-house. So you have to do a indifference analysis. This is known as the indifference analysis. You have to do a indifference analysis. This is known as indifference analysis. Indifference analysis. And to decide whether make or buy, you need to collect several financial data or budget allocations for your department. A firm's manager must decide whether to make or buy training programs for the upcoming year. In-house would involve annual list cost of 150,000. That means if you are going to make your training in-house, then what you have to do, you have to lease a new floor and the cost will be 150,000. And cost and volume estimates are given here. Annual fixed cost is 150 when you are making, but when you are sending outside training institute, there will be no rental. But when you are offering training in-house, the variable cost, that means when you some training allowance is given to the employees, some snacks is given to the employees, some materials you need to prepare, you have to pay to the trainers. So the variable cost, this is fixed cost, whether you are providing training or not, doesn't matter. The floor rental you have to pay if you are thinking in-house, and variable cost will be 60. But when you are offering outside, when you are not renting any floor, per unit cost will be $80. And the annual volume, that means how many participants you are sending to the training, is around 12,000. So you can offer training program in-house or you can send them outside. When you are sending them outside, you do not need to lease a floor. None. But the per unit cost, that means per unit training fee will be $80. And here variable cost, per unit training cost, in other words, will be 60. And number of trainees during the whole year, you are thinking that you are going to provide training to 12,000 employees or 12,000 participants. So whether you will rent a floor and provide the training in-house or you will send to the outside institutes. So indifference analysis will say you, given the numbers, should the firm buy or make? There is a possibility that volume could change in future, and that volume would the manager be at what volume would the manager be indifferent between in-house? So indifference analysis, the manager will be indifferent between in-house or outsource. That means at which volume the company's expenditure will be same to make or buy. This one. Because you need to know the indifference point, because the volume could change. Maybe you are not sending 12,000. You are providing training for 10,000. You are providing training for 20,000. So this volume may change. So you initially will decide based on this primary data whether you are going to provide the training in-house or outsource the training. How you can do that? Determine the annual cost of each alternative. So total cost, fixed cost plus volume plus variable cost, make the total cost will be 870, and to buy the total cost will be 960. So what will be your decision? What will be your decision? Are you with me, gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So to provide the training in-house, the company needs 870,000. And to outsource the service, the company needs 960,000. So which one is better? Which one will you choose?
So make
Making good. Making, because making cost is less than buying
lower.
cost. So rather than sending to the IBA or BIBM, Bankers Training Institute, Bangladesh Institute of Bank Management. So either you can send BIBM or IBA. They are providing training services in Bangladesh. Because the annual cost of making the item is less than the annual cost of buying it, the manager would reasonably choose to make the item. Here, item means our training offer. Now, the second option. Second option is that to determine the volume at which the two choices should be equivalent. So what you have to do, total cost of making equals total cost of buying. So at which volume your making cost and buying cost will be same. So making cost 150 plus total cost 150 plus 60 multiplied by quantity, and buying 0 fixed cost plus $80 multiplied by Q. So solve for Q. Q is 7,500. Are you getting how it is 7,500?
Yes, sir.
Therefore, at a volume of 7,500 units, the manager would be indifferent between making and buying. So if the training is one-time training, one time, next time you do not need the facilities. Maybe you will, if your number of trainees is 7,500 and the training is one time, then you will send to outside training institute. But if there is a chance that the training will recur in future, then maybe you will build your own training institute. So the manager would be indifferent. That's why it is indifference analysis. At 7,500 participants, the training manager will be indifferent whether they are buying the training program or making the in-house training program. This is known as the indifference point. 7,500 is known as indifference point. Is it clear? Rima, are you here? Miss Rima. Mahfuza Rima. Maybe at the end of the lecture, I will absent somebody. Then Sumaya Frost. Maybe I have to think alternatively. Mm, Umma, what's her name? 26, Miss 26, Nusrat.
Yes, sir. Present. Sir.
So what is indifferent point? What is indifferent point or indifference point?
Sorry, sir.
Urmisha, what is indifference point?
Yes, sir.
What is indifference point? Can you tell me what is indifference point?
সরি স্যার, এখনো
Sanjida, class participation already have 1.5. Sanjida Sharmin, Mr. Ebadur Rahman, Meher Mim,
Sir, please, sir.
Meher Afroz Mim. Ashraka Sultana Ananna.
Yes,
Withdrawn.
sir.
Are you here?
Yes, sir.
So what is the indifference point?
স্যার যেখানে দুইটা আর্নিং পার শেয়ার ইকুয়াল হয় এরকম কিছু হয়তো বা।
So Mr. Tausiful Hassan. Mr. Tausiful Hassan. He was present in today's class, isn't it? Harisa Rahman. Mahfuza Anjum. Mahfuza.
Sir,
Harisa Rahman. Where is Harisa Rahman? Harisa Rahman and Mahfuza Anjum is same.
no, sir. I'm 32.
So Harisa, okay. So Harisa, can you tell me what is the indifference point?
Indifference point.
Whether they will offer the training in-house. In-house means make, or they will outsource the training program. Outsource the training program means that the employees will be sent to outside institute. Say for an example, if you are working in a bank companies usually choose BIBM, outsourcing the training program. So as a training manager, you have to analyze the cost, whether the cost of providing the training is less than cost of sending the employees to outside institute. By if in-house cost is less than outsourcing, then the company will offer training in-house, and outsourcing is inexpensive, then they will send to the training institutes. And indifference point means that the company will determine the number of trainees, need assessment, how many people are going to train, number of employees. If when the making cost means in-house cost and outsourcing cost is same, when the in-house cost and outsourcing cost is same to a certain number of participants or trainees, it is known as the indifference point. Say, for example, what you have to do, you have to analyze these 3 points. The same calculation is used in break-even analysis. Indifference point and break-even analysis is same. Break-even we usually use in only internal analysis, whether you are going to make or when you will be break-even. Here we are making the decision whether the training program will be in-house or outsourced. So you have to know the fixed cost, you have to know the variable cost, you have to know the number of trainees, how many participants will be there in the training program. And these estimations are for the whole year. These estimations are for the whole year. So the company, if the company is going to offer training program in-house, the company needs to invest $150,000 to lease a office, training institute. Or to establish a training institute, the company requires $150,000. But when they are sending outside, they do not need to establish a training institute. So there is no fixed cost in sending outside. And the variable cost of trainees, cost of trainers, cost of materials, cost of electricity, cost of all variable cost is 60. And variable cost, that means how much you are paying for per trainer is $80 when you are sending to outside institute. But when you are providing the training in-house, in your own training institute, the variable cost will be 60. And you are expecting that the number of participants from your need analysis will be around 12,000. So at 12,000, whether you are going to provide training in-house or you are going to outsource the training. So what you will do, what are the in-house training cost, total cost? 12,000 multiplied by 60 plus 150,000. And here 12,000 multiplied by 80 only, because there is no fixed cost. And this total cost is 150,000 in in-house training, fixed cost plus variable cost, 870,000. And there is no fixed cost when you are sending employees to the outside institute. Only variable cost, 80 multiplied by 12,000. 12,000 means 12,000 people will take training during 1 year. 960. So when you are expecting 12,000 participants, your in-house training is inexpensive than outsourcing or outside training institutes. So you will establish your own training program, or training institute. You will establish your own training institute. Now the question arises, what will be the number of trainees that will equalize making and buying? So the number of participants at which making training program in-house or buying training program out-house is same. That means the participants at which making and buying same is known as the indifference point. So making equals buying. We will calculate the quantity here. 150 quantity is, we have applied quantity, but we now going to determine the quantity. Q multiplied by 60 equals 0. That means buying cost, fixed cost is 0, variable cost is 80. 80 multiplied by quantity. So solving for Q, we find 7,500. So if there are 7,500 trainees you are going to train in coming year. Then your buying cost and making cost will be same. That means you can establish a new training institute if your number of trainees are 7,500, or you can send to reputed institutes. The cost will be same. This 7,500 is known as the indifference point. Now the company identified that there are 8,000 trainees will be trained in our training institute. Then, so it's not clear to me. Please increase your volume. I cannot hear you. Are you talking with me? Anybody? So can you tell me, if your need assessment finds that you are going to train 8,000 employees in coming year, and your fixed cost 150,000, variable cost if you provide training in-house is 60, and if you are providing training outsource, then per unit cost will be 80. So whether you will establish your own training institute or you will provide training in outside training institute, if the number of trainees is 8,000, who can answer? If the number of trainees is 8,000, whether you will establish your own training institute or you will send to outside training institute? Who can tell me? I'll give you bonus points.
স্যার কোশ্চেনটা একটু আবার একটু রিপিট করুন প্লিজ।
Question: if your need assessment finds you are going to train 8,000 employees, 8,000, replacement of 12,000 is 8,000. So your need assessment finds that number of trainees will be 8,000 in coming year, and the relevant cost is given here. The question is whether you will establish a new training institute or you will send the 8,000 employees outside for training. This is my question. Am I clear? So if you can answer, you will get bonus points.
Sir, establish new training institute.
Why?
নো স্যার আউটসোর্সিং করব।
So in case of establishing, there will be cost around 6,30,000. And in case of we send the employees, then the total cost will be 6,40,000. So
You are
if
going
we
to
establish
establish
the
a
training
new.
institute,
So who
yes,
are
sir.
you?
There are 10,000. So Sanjida 071.
So
ID
what's
071.
071? Yes, good. Your answer is correct. We are sending 071. Money.
Yes, sir.
Is it? Good.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Nelson, what is your why you are going to send them outside? Because the cost analysis, making cost 150,000 plus 8,000 is our target, isn't it? Need assessment said
Yes.
that 8,000 people are going, you are going to provide training to 8,000. So 8,000 multiplied by 60 plus 150. Your in-house establishment of training institute will be 88,000 multiplied by 60 plus 150 equals what?
6,30,000.
630,000.
Yes, sir.
630,000 and buying your fixed
Six
cost
lakh
is 0.
40,000.
So 12,000 divided by 80. Sorry, 8,000 divided by 80. 8 plus 8, 64, 640,000, is it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it will be 630,000 and it will be 640,000. So $10,000 will be saved if you establish your own training institute. And when you are establishing your own training institute, it will provide some more advantages in future. So however, for the moment, cost analysis show that we will make our own training institute. All right. Do you have any confusions here? Do you have any confusions? Okay, let's move. So who should participate? Anybody in the organization can participate. Even the CEO can participate in the training program. How CEO can be a training program participants? Say for an example, changes there in legislation. The CEO must know the new law. So CEO may be the participants. In addition to CEO, mid-level, top-level, lower-level managers, all may be the participants. All relevant stakeholders be involved. Company leaders, mid-level managers, trainers, employees, even trainers. Employees, those give input and receive output. Employees. The employees here means the workers. Give input. Say for an example, in banking jobs, somebody is giving inputs and somebody is receiving outputs. Or in operations, production operations, there is someone is providing inputs, someone is receiving outputs. Subject matter experts, SME. Here SME not small and medium enterprises. SME means subject matter experts. Even customers to know about the characteristics of the new product. The customers may join the training program. That means anybody can participate in training program. You have to target whether the training is important or not. And then you have to identify who are going to take the training. These are the outcomes. What training trainees need to learn, who receives training, what type of training needed, how many times, frequency of training means how many times you are providing the same training. And you have to also calculate the in-house training institute or outsource the training program. That means buy versus build training decision. And maybe for other HRM solutions. So everybody in the company can participate in the training, but the need assessment will tell you which training you are going to provide, who are the participants. These are the main two issues, and whether you are establishing your training institute or outsourcing the training program. How should data be collected? Data collection, that means the need assessment methods. All methods have advantages and disadvantages. No one method is necessarily superior to another. The methods may be observation. You will observe. That means whether training is important or not. You will go to the field. You will observe the employee. You will observe the task. Then you will decide. Then survey. You can take answers from the employees by using questionnaire survey. This may be interview. Interview means you will ask questions, and if they can answer properly, you can say that whether training is needed or not. Focus group discussion, as we have said, few experts will be there and the discussion will come out what type of training the company needs. Crowdsourcing, this is a special term used in Google crowdsourcing. That means Google's selection process. Here crowdsourcing means you are collecting data from mass people, many people. In focus group, few people, and crowdsourcing, many people are there, and you are collecting data from the many people. What type of training, especially to provide customer training, provide customer satisfaction training, crowdsourcing. Then existing documentations, online technology. Online technology means that in today's world, artificial intelligence is added with. Internet of Things or IoT devices are attached with the employees' machines. This technology will say whether you are efficient or inefficient. What is your problem? Whether training is needed or not. So technology is also reshaping the training needs assessment methods. Historical data review, and one more methods that we didn't show here, but we explained before you. That means ADB, how ADB assess the training needs for the textile sector that we are offering at this moment at Bangladesh University of Textiles. Benchmarking, we benchmark China. How their productivity is improved, what type of training they're providing, and we found that there are managerial problems. The employees are working 8 hours, but they don't have any plan. So teach them how to make a plan. The employees are working properly. The supervisors are supervising employees for 8 hours, but the supervision is not effective because they do not know about the motivational tools. So benchmarking may be one of the way of assessing training needs that we have found by observing Chinese companies. And levels of 3 levels of analysis, and you know it from our previous lecture that what are the 3 levels of analysis? The 3 levels of analysis means organizational analysis, personal analysis, and task analysis. So who can tell me? Mahfuza Rima, are you here? Rima. Still, she is not there. That means maybe she is preparing iftar, isn't it? Iftar preparation is going on. Sumaya Pros.
Sir, I'm here.
So you are not preparing iftar, I do. So can you
No,
tell
sir.
me? Can you tell me how organizational analysis identify the training needs?
Sir,
How
sorry, sir, I
organize?
did not get you, sir.
So what will be your score in class participation? How can I help you? Who can tell me?
Sir,
Who can tell me? Who can tell me how organizational analysis can help to know the training needs assessment, TNA?
Sir, can I say, sir?
Please, Mr.
Sir.
Shofik.
Sir, মানে organizational needs analysis, how it affects in training needs. Sir, I think, sir, এটা analysis করছে যে overall organizational goals, strategies, performance, their long-term mission and vision, and it identifies মানে ওই identifies the areas যেখানে we need training and where training can improve overall organizational performance, sir, in the long
So
run.
that means you are providing training not because of personal lacks, not because of task, but because of changes in the organization, development of the organization, automation of the factory. So when you are automating your factory, the person is working, maybe new automation system is not known to the person. So you have to offer training program. And your answer is also good. Company's business strategy analysis, the company's new strategic objective analysis, the company's competitive position, that will force to offer new training programs. This is also true. But
Yes, sir.
organizational development, organizational change, then hierarchical development of the new managers, development of the successors, replacement of the employees, the company offers training. Say, for example, job rotation. Why job rotation is providing to the top managers? To develop them for taking the role of whole organization. Maybe somebody is working in the finance department and he is fit or he is next to the CEO of the company. He can be the CEO of the company. So to hold the CEO position in future, what you have to do, you have to send him in different departments, job rotation, so that he can know about the performance of the other task of the other department. So this is not because of lackings of the person or because of task analysis. This is because of organizational development, succession planning. So job rotation, job enrichment, job enlargement. Maybe he's good. What is job enlargement? Job enlargement means that you are going to give him more duties and responsibilities. So this is not the because of personal lacking, because of restructuring of the organization. So you have to give more duties and responsibilities. So while you are providing him new assignments, so you have to train him. This is about organizational changes, organizational analysis, and personal analysis, especially performance appraisal. Here, in organizational analysis, as Mr. Shofik said, we will discuss related with the overall indicators of the organizational development. Overall indicators of the organizational development indicates balanced scorecard, company's internal operations, company's target or profitability, profit target, company's customer focus, and company's learning and growth. That strategy will tell you what type of training you need, when you are going to provide training, how many participants will be there. So training needs assessment. And personal analysis and task analysis, we refer it with the, 9-grid analysis, 9-grid. Just we are giving you the idea. We'll discuss more details about organizational analysis, personal analysis, task analysis in our coming lecture. So for our example, organizational analysis. What are the considerations for providing training? The company's strategic direction, social support to motivate trainees to learn and transfer, training resources, time, and expertise. So you have to consider these issues while you are offering or you are analyzing training needs. And as we have said that the balanced scorecard. Balanced scorecard is one of the way of organizational analysis. Training needs assessment through organizational analysis. And in balanced scorecard is related to companies. These are the components of the balanced scorecard: organizational capacity, or what we have said that learning and growth, internal process, customer focus, financial objectives of the company. These are the factors of BSC, balanced scorecard, and these are also the components of the strategy map. These are the strategies. The strategies we have shown in a map. That's why this is known as strategy map. So for example, these are the organizational strategies. These are the internal process strategies. These are the customer service improvement strategies. These are the financial strategies. And that will ultimately affect the company's ultimate objective. So your analysis of the financial, maybe you have to provide financial training. You have to provide customer satisfaction training. You have to provide marketing training. Internal process includes marketing, production, other departments. So maybe production, how we can improve the productivity, how we can improve marketing process. That will tell you what will be the training program. And improve knowledge base. That means organizational capacity. It means learning and growth. Staff skills, learning and growth. Energy consumption. This is related to organizational capacity. And that means you are considering the 4 factors of balanced scorecard, BSC, while assessing the training needs. And these are the components of the balanced scorecard. Maybe we can discuss these 3 components in our coming lecture. Maybe a traffic jam will create there in your mind. That's why we are not going to discuss more details. We also discuss about the personal analysis. Or sometimes this is also related with the task analysis, 9-box model. So you will identify the employees based on their performance and their future potentials into 9 groups. And then you will design specific training programs for these people. This is known as 9-box grid, or 9-box grid for training need assessment. This is also performance appraisal tool. What is your performance? Are you the lowest performer? Your potential is 0, then you are very unfit for the organization, poor fit to the role. So we'll discuss more details about this model. That means organization analysis, task analysis, and performance analysis for training need assessment in our coming lecture. If we sum up today's lecture, we discuss about why training need assessment is important, and what are the outcomes of training need assessment, and what are the methods. The common why training need assessment is important: for the betterment of the employee, betterment of the organization. And then what type of training program you are going to offer, This depends on the task analysis, organizational analysis, performance analysis. And what are the methods or which method you will apply to analyze the training needs? You can observe, you can benchmark, you can interview, you can discuss in focus group, you can crowdsource to know the training needs assessment. And more details about the organizational analysis, personal analysis, and task analysis we'll discuss in our coming lecture. So the coming lecture will be physical. So remember or remind me that we will start from here. All right. Thank you very much for your patience hearing.
Thank you, sir.
But online lecture is very effective. We can cover more topics. The time is very fruitful, but the condition is that you have to be attentive in the classroom.
Yes.
That's why, as the students do not, join the lecture mentally, they sometimes join physically, sometimes use Facebook, and you should switch on your video. That is important. So maybe as we have only one lecture, that's why I'm not giving you too much pressure. But in future, if there are some issues, then you have to follow the principles of online lecture. So thank you very much for your
স্যার
yes.
স্যার আমি হচ্ছে শুরুতে 10 মিনিট একটু লেট হয়েছিল আমার নেটওয়ার্ক ইস্যুর কারণে, তো আমি অ্যাটেন্ডেন্সটা মিস করেছিলাম। স্যার আপনি যদি কাইন্ডলি আমার অ্যাটেন্ডেন্সটা একটু দিয়ে দিতেন।
স্যার আমারও এখানে মানে আমি আউটসাইড ঢাকাতে, তো একটু নেটওয়ার্ক ইস্যুস ছিল।
আমারও লগ ইন করতে টাইম লাগছে।